Hey everybody, this is Steve from Warrior Light Podcast, and I'm here to do a deck tech video of my new Earth, Water Fusoya kind of build that I just got finished working on. Um, in the background, you see my FFDecks recipe, and then I have it all laid out here too. That I'm going to go over it with you and explain how the deck works. So pretty much, in the background, you can see the whole thing, like what all the cards are. I'll put a link in the description of the video where you can find this deck, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna go through all the cards, and yeah, hope you enjoy. So first we do one of a Viking. I do a very small Viking package in here. So there's Viking. I do 3 ephemeral summoners. And the reason why you would run this card is whenever she hits the field, you can search for a water summoner 4 or less and put it on top of your deck. That's going to combo in with your Fusoya. So if you're putting EX abilities on top of your deck that you want to be able to use with Fusoya, that's how you package that with it. I also combo with another card. I'll explain how that works once we get into the technical side of things. So 3 of her. She's a 2-drop forward water. I run 3 Heroic Cecil. Okay, I should probably be showing them so you can see them. Yeah, so 3 Heroic Cecil. It's 3-drop Earth 7K. I'll also explain how this works in a little bit. I don't even know how to say this card's name. I'll attempt it. It's Halicarnassus. I think that's what it's called. So the water forward 3-drop. It just came out of the newest set, Opus 7. So whenever she enters the field, all forwards, your opponent loses their abilities until the end of the turn, which in itself is a really good card. And then her other ability, her activated abilities, you can tap her and discard 2 summons from your hand, choose 1 forward, and break it. So it's really good, especially in this deck since we run 11 summons. If you get any this deck, you mostly want to focus on not having to pay for your summons and EXing them instead. So that will come in handy. So especially with the draw power, you'll probably have a lot of extra summons in your hands. Next card is you run 3 Noctis. Okay. So Noctis is 3-drop Earth forward 7K. He's also out of the newest set, Opus 7. First Final Fantasy 15 card out in the set so far. So he's an EX burst, and when you receive damage, choose 1 forward. If you receive 6 points of damage, break it. When you receive damage, choose 1 forward. Your opponent controls Noctis and the chosen forward deal damage equal to the respective powers to the other. And then his last ability is you pay 2 Earth and 2 any color during this turn. The next damage dealt to Noctis becomes 0 instead. So the way that this works is his EX ability even triggers when he's on the field. So he's on the field, you take your 6 point of damage, and you pick a card and you break it. Really good stuff. That's going to come on with Fusoya. I'm going to show you how that works a little bit later. Again, I'm just going through the deck list right now, and then I'm going to show you how the combos work a little bit. And for the rest of the Viking package, as I do 2-3 of Vikings, and then a Layla. So I have this very small Viking package, which I'm thinking, well, it's 2 Laylas actually. I'm thinking of possibly taking this out and running the 2-drop backup called Oracle. It came out of Opus 7 and allows you to pick up the top 2 cards of your deck and look at them, and you can put them back either on top or the bottom of your deck. That way, so pretty much how that would work is if you went through all your ephemeral summoners and you wanted to make sure you had an EX on top of your deck, you would use that, and then you'd be able to comfortably use your Fusoya knowing what's on top of your deck. So so if it's not a Layla package, I was thinking running that Oracle, and you would take out the 5 of these cards, add 3 Oracle, and then 2 something else, which I haven't decided yet. But that's the Viking package. I run 2 Porum, which is just overall a really good card. Whenever she hits the field and it's an EX ability, you could pick up the top 3 cards of your deck, and you take 1 of them to your hand, put the rest of the other 2 to the bottom, and then her other ability is 1 in Dull Her. Choose 1 action ability, cancel its effect. This comes in handy a lot. I mean, it counters a lot of decks. It's protection for you. So if you got any card, say your opponent's playing a dragon or something, and they're trying to blow up anything on your field, you just activate this, and they waste their dragon. So let's pour them. You run 2 of her. More forwards, you got Rosa. I run 2 of her. So the way that she works is she's also an EX burst. When she hits the field, you search for a Cecil and add it to your hand. She's a little bit under curve. She's 4-drop for 5,000, which isn't very good. But her other abilities, you can choose to forward, and during this turn, the next damage dealt to it reduced by 1,000 instead. So you can even use this with Noctis. If your if the forward's name is Cecil during the turn, the next damage altitude is reduced by 3,000, which is very good, which is exactly what you want. So you can use that Cecil to block. You give him Brave, he still after an attack, and you can block with him, reduce the power, damage by 3,000. You can use that every turn that she's active. So, Rosa, you run 2 of her. You run 3 of the 5-drop Cecil. Just an overall really good card. This comes out of Opus 5. EX Burst. When Cecil enters the field, choose one dual forward your opponent controls. If the cost is equal to or less than the damage you've received, break it. Then his other special ability is Dark. You're running 6 Cecil in here, so it shouldn't be too hard to pull that off. Choose one forward. Cecil deals 1 point of damage. Deals you 1 point of damage, and then the cost of the forward. So pretty much the same ability. You just have to discard for it. So if you got 5 points of damage, you use his special ability. You take an extra point of damage, which can trigger a bunch of other abilities too. And then whatever you have. So now you'll have 6 damage. Anything that's under 6, you can break. So it's a 1 forward of your choice. So really good card. I run 3 of him. So the theme of this deck, of course, is you're trying to give yourself damage, but you're trying to control the damage you're taking. So last forward that I run in this deck is Cabral, obviously. 7 cost Earth Legend. You will never pay 7 for this card. You will take a crop ton of damage because the cost required to play him onto the field is reduced by 1 for every damage you take. So I played him for 2 the other day. And it was like, okay, no sweat off my back. So good card. And then when you get up to 6 points of damage, he gains Brave. So he's a really powerful blocker as well. So and then he's a 9k as well. So good stuff. So that's the forwards that I run. The summons that I'm running are 2 Mughal, similar draw power. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You draw 2, discard 1. Poo-Poo. The good, cool thing I found out about this card is if you have no cards in your hand, you don't have to discard. You just get to draw 2. So it's also an EX1. So more draw power for that. Higher. So pretty much the reason why you run this is an overall really good Earth card. You can play this with Noctis, and you pretty much get Noctis for free without having to take any damage. So that's a good support. I only run 1 of him. I actually I've drawn into him a couple times when I've play tested this deck, and I've never even had to use him. So depending on how the setup goes. I run 2 Famfrit, which you can probably add another one if you take out the Layla package. EX ability 3, so it's on curve with your Infernal Summoner. Just select 1 forward. Each player selects a forward on their side of the field and they break it. So, and if you don't have anything on your field, then your opponent just, they just eat it. So it's EX, it works along with your Fusoya stuff, so I run 2 of that. Leviathan, because, it's Opus 1 Leviathan. It's a really good card. Super simple. Choose a forward, turn it to owner's hand. 3 job, EX. And then Titan. 5 cost, EX. Whenever he's just a really good card. Choose 1 forward. Your opponent controls 1 forward. You control the former game. Well, so pretty much what happens is you choose 2 cards, 1 on your side of the field, 1 on the other side of the field. You gain 2,000 until the end of the turn, and then your card deals damage to the other. And it only works that way. They don't return the damage to you, and that's why he costs so much. So that's Titan. You run 2 of him. Let me just check my music really quick here. Sorry, I had to make sure we're using royalty-free stuff here. Backups. I do 1 of Artemisian. You're going to be drawing a whole bunch of cards. You're going to be able to swap out those cards whenever you want using Artemisian. Just really good, solid backup, 2 cost, something on the field. Obviously 3 of a Fusoya. This is the main, bread and butter of the whole entire deck. Dull him, you choose a forward on your opponent's side of the field, it takes 7,000 damage, and it deals you 1 point of damage. So the good thing about this is that's how you're activating your EX abilities. Got to be really, really careful with this card. It's going to trigger all sorts of EX abilities and stuff off the field because you're constantly trying to give yourself damage, but make sure you're trying to control the damage that you're taking. So you're going to want a lot of stuff, a lot of blockers out on the field, or you're going to want to be able to use Brave so you have something to block so you're not taking as much damage. The good thing about, most decks is with this deck, you're going to break more stuff than they're able to keep out, so you'll never have to worry about them attacking you too much, but Fusoya, 3 of. Another good thing about running Fusoya in this deck is you can discard them with Mughal if you have extras in your hand. So that's how you get rid of the extra Fusoya, because you can't discard them for CP. So, yeah. Next card, I do 1 of a Masked Woman. Just overall good card. choose a dual forward with 4 or less and break it. Minimu. So say you're using Noctis' ability and you're trading with somebody, Minimu could potentially make you Noctis not take any damage at all. Then you can give him Brave and attack with him, and he's at full power. So, of course, your his actual ability, the force you control do not take damage. Force you control don't receive damage that is less than their power. So, yeah, I'll run 2 of him. I would like to run more of him, but this deck is kind of tight. So, I run Mimoti. I run 2 of. Just free Brave every turn. Definitely want to have at least one of these on the field. So if you're drawing into it, you want to make sure you get a card on the field. You get 1 free card that gains Brave. Really, really important in this deck because you want to control the damage you're taking. So you want to be able to attack and be aggressive, but you still want those cards to be able to be blockers. So Mimoti. 2 of. You could even go to 3 of if you want. But you can only have 1 on the field, so there's that to think about too. I run 2 summoners, so it's a 3 cost. You dull it, choose to summon a 2 or less for your hand, you can play it for free. So that's nice. You can run more than 1 on the field at the same time. So you get 2 summoners on the field. You can play 2 Mughals from your hand for free. So it's pretty cool. And this also is a water backup to have on the field if you need it. And then the last backup would be Miner. Grab a backup from your a backup, and then you can break him and get forward. So Miner's just really important to run in Earth decks if you have the space for it. Last 2 cards I'm going to show you are my monsters. I just run Magic Pot. Really, really good card. It activates all sorts of different abilities. You have that 3 cost Cecil on the field. You can Magic Pot him into a just a 5 cost one, be able to pop off that EX ability. You could use this with a Thermal Summoner. Since you've already used her ability, you can just pitch it to the graveyard with your Magic Pot, and then you can play out another one and use that ability to look at another card and do a Fusoya combo off that. So also it works really well with Vikings. You can get rid of the 1 cost Viking and pull in the 3 cost Viking. That allows you to draw 2 cards right there. Let's see what else does it work really well with. Anything with an EX, so you got Rosa, Porum. So yeah, Magic Pot, really good stuff. It's one bad thing about it is it does come into the field dull, but when you are able to use that, you can. It's got such good value. You can take a 2 drop, turn it into a 5 drop for free essentially. So let's see. So that is the monsters in this deck. So the way that, let me get to the more technical stuff here. So the main strategy in this deck is you want to get as quickly as possible. You want this Cecil onto the field. You want, and with that Cecil, you want to have a Noctis out. And let's see, Fusoya as your backup. So you're tapping your Fusoya to take damage, which is probably to be an EX ability. So you're gonna get that EX ability to draw your whatever you get. Fusoya is gonna deal 7,000 damage to something, which is going to activate Cecil, because now you took a damage. Now Cecil's effect activates. Now you can deal an additional 5,000 to something else. So you got 7,000 going one way, you got 5,000 going another way. You have Noctis. Now that you've taken a damage, you activate his other ability, so he can trade damage with somebody. So say, so you're dealing 7,000 to something unless you can get his power higher, which isn't too difficult. There are a couple cards in here that you can boost his power with, Titan being one of them. And then of course you just you pay 2 Earth and 2 regular, and you can save him if you're fighting against something that's a little bit stronger than him, or that would threaten him to die. So that's 7, 14. That's 1,900 damage in 1 turn, just for taking 1 damage off of Fusoya, going your opponent's way. So if you have these 3 cards on your field, you can, if they're running like Vice Kings, you can wipe their field pretty quickly. If they got 3 forwards, boom, they're gone. If something can survive 19 damage coming in at them, then wow. So other techs that you can pull off with this deck, obviously the Famfrit into the Viking. You play Famfrit off the top of your deck using Fusoya as an EX. You're ditching Viking, being able to draw a card as your payment for Famfrit, and then they're just ditching a card. Thermal Summoner, of course, that's going to pull out your EXs and put them on top of your deck. Helicross, you run all those. I already told you how that works. You run all those extra summons in your deck. So if you have any extra in your hand, you're gonna be able to discard those, break something. Rosa, working with Cecil, and then the other Cecil, of course. So cool thing about this one is I had this one on the field and I EX'd into this one, and it just did some really good. I think it was my 6th point of damage. I was able to play Cabral for like next to free. And then of course you can also consider using Magic Pot with the Cecil and getting it up for essentially free. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys? And then the way that Minimu works in this deck is it just saves Noctis from taking any damage. So he pretty much has only the good side of his ability. There's no threat. And then of course, Magic Pot's pulling off a bunch of stuff. So tell me what you guys think. This deck has actually proved really, really good so far. I played it against Scions. So that was the only deck I tested against so far, and it did really, really well. It won one, lost one. Only been able to test it once because been busy at work and stuff like that. But it did seem really consistent the both times that I did play it. I just got to play the second time. So yeah, just let me know what you think about this deck. You can check out the link in the description for this FFDecks if you want to make a version of yourself. Yeah, I was just really inspired off this Noctis, and I really wanted to be able to build a deck around him. And as soon as I heard about his ability, I'm like, oh my god, he's going to work really good with Cecil and Fusoya. So I had to build a deck, and Water Fusoya has been, a really popular deck at, these big tournaments. So I thought I'd put my own spin on it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm probably going to do another one with my Earth Lightning, which is going to be a very similar recipe, but it's going to be with Lightning instead. So feel free to check out that one. Again, my name's Steven. It's a Warrior Light podcast, and you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.